All right, guys, we're back here. We've been catching the beaver the last few days. I think we're at number 5 out of here. We've got the two adult beavers and then I guess 3 juveniles out of here. So we'll see if there's any left. If we've got any catches this morning. This is that first dam. We've got the drowning rod piece of rebar on. Basically all it is a 10-foot piece of rebar, and it's got a locking mechanism called a drowning lock on it, and you can buy those at any trap supply store. Will carry them, or you can make your own. That's what I did. I just made my own. But get here, don't see our stick sticking out of the water. I'm just feeling around here trying to find my rebar. And our trap's going again. And we got another one. So this is one of her 1-year-old beaver. So we're starting to thin this colony down. So guys, basically what we got here, we've got any beaver trap will work. I actually prefer the TS85s from where I'm at. They've only got 2 coil springs on the bottom. This trap's got 4. It just makes it a little bit harder to set. Hey, this can be used as a wolf trap up north also. Down here we use them as a beaver trap in the water. The 4 coil, this thing actually make a pretty good wolf trap. Or up north where the guys are trapping the beaver underneath the ice, sometimes you'll need that extra power, that extra pair of springs to get through that ice. But down here where I'm at, we don't have that much, and I find that 2 springs on the TS85 work just fine, and it's a whole lot easier to set. This one's got quite a bit of tension on it, and sometimes when you're up and down these ditches wore out, these things are kind of a pain to set. But anyhow, basically guys, kind of show you how I set this up. I mean, right here we've got this, and I haven't made a break in any of these dams. These are all just the natural crossovers that the beavers have been using, and all I've done is come right here in front of it, probably about, I don't know, 2 foot from the edge, and it's going to vary by your location how the dam sets. But well, the beaver's basically swimming up here, and then he's going to put his feet down and get his balance to go over that crossing. As the water goes down, the dirt will be showing, so they have to come up on the dry land, cross it, and then go back into the water. So basically all I'm doing is, you can't see it because it's underwater, but right here is the edge of that dam. That's where it starts to fall back down. And when I first come in here and set these up, all I do is come in here and I pack that mud down where I want my trap to be, so it's not silty, it's not soft. I've got a pretty firm bottom in front of it. And that's basically just, the edge of my trap is probably sitting right on the edge of where that dam starts to fall off into the deeper water. And so basically all that is, here's my homemade mechanism I was talking about earlier, my drowning rod. All I've done is taken a piece of tubing, cut it down into small pieces where it'd slide over my rebar. Then I just welded on another piece of metal and drilled a hole for my lock. And basically what happens is that we get that set, we get that beaver caught in this trap, and he takes off for deeper water, slides down it, but when he gets to the bottom, it's shoved down in the mud, and he can't, that mechanism won't allow him to come back up for air, and therefore he drowns. So basically on my rebar, all I've got is a washer welded up here, and that's for my stake to stake it in the ground. I've also used older trap swivels that I don't use anymore on my traps. You can weld the box on that trap swivel up here, and that works just as well. On the bottom of this rebar, all I've done is put a little tack on it with my welder. and tack that so that slide can't go past that point. If you had another washer, you could weld another washer on here. Just anything to stop that trap from sliding off the end of your rod, because sometimes they will pull it up out of the mud. So we'll get this thing set back. Basically, we're just going to shove that end down into the mud as far as we can. And we're just gonna lay that slide back down, stake it. Reset our trap. And again, I'm just setting it in the water. I'm setting it long way, so as the beaver comes around, he's gonna step on it. The traps are gonna close around his foot versus this way. He's gonna step on it, and those jaws coming up, if we get him by a front foot, they could throw that front foot out of the trap and have a miss. So, like I said, we're just gonna take and set that right back down here, right in front of that, right at the front edge of that dam where the water first starts to go up and over it. And we're just gonna get it set securely back down in the mud. And again, you want these as secure as you can get them, where they don't move around just a whole lot. So when he puts his foot down, it's a solid catch. Well, there we go. We'll get down here and check the rest of the traps. All right, guys, here's our second set. Now, I talked earlier about how I actually didn't make a dam break on these sets. When I first get to a new property and first get after the beaver, I wanna get in there and make the least disturbance that I can. I don't want to go in there and start moving things around and start really tearing it up, tromping around a whole lot, because them beaver, they're aware of that. They're aware that you've been there. All animals are. So what I do when I first come in here, I guess I set this up 4 days ago, and basically all I did, I went to each dam and I found the crossover where the animals were naturally had been crossing over the top of that dam, and I put a trap on each one. At first dam, I put a drowning rod on. That's the one I just showed you. And then right here, I set the bottom of this dam with a 330 Duke conibear body trap, and then the next dam I've got a sliding rod on too. So 4 days ago we come in here and had never been here before and set this ditch up, and then in those 4 days we've caught that one this morning made number 6 out of here. We've caught the 2 adults. We've caught her last year's litter. We've caught 3 of her last year's litter, and then the beaver this morning, that was one of her last spring babies. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna now that we've got almost this whole group of beaver caught, I'm probably gonna leave it set like I have today, and then tomorrow when I come back in here, I'll actually start knocking these dam down, get the water flowing, because those smaller beaver, they're gonna be scared. They're not gonna come out. They're not out here moving up and down every night like the older beaver were. So what I want to do is try to now get that environment changed, get the water flowing out of here, and that change, I'm hoping that change will get those smaller beaver out and they'll come through and get caught in my traps. So basically that's kind of the idea about how I set places up when I first get to them. But let's check this 330 we've got another one caught here today, so you can see it in the water there. Good deal. It's going to be another small one. Actually, it's not. That's going to be another one of her 2-year-olds, one of her last year's litter. Again, we got them right behind the neck. That's exactly what we want. They don't struggle long when you catch them there. And we're going to set this up just like we did yesterday. You can see our sticks are still here where we had it, so we're gonna use those same sticks, stick that trap right back down in there. Both corners. Alright, our trap's secure in there, so we're just gonna get our dive stick back out here and gonna lay it right on top of that trap to get that beaver to dive down and go underneath that stick. Alright guys, stay tuned. We may have 3 catches 3 days in a row. We're here at this third set. I don't know if you can tell or not, but the anchor's pulled up out of the ground maybe about 8-10 inches. So we've got one caught on it too last night. You can tell the stick that I put there, it's bent over. So we're gonna get down in here and see what we've got in this trap. All right, here's the top of this drowning rod. I was talking about using one of my trap swivel, the boxes on it. This is what I was talking about here. Instead of a washer, I've welded that on there, and it's worked fine for me. And I see another beaver, another one of her 2-year-olds. She had a big litter year before last. All right, guys, we're gonna get this one reset, see if we can just keep on picking them up as they come through on these crossovers. Again, same thing this one. Now this one being out of water, this is what I was talking about earlier. The waters, you can tell right here is where they've always used this dam to cross over. So we're just gonna take that trap. On this one, we're just gonna set it right in the water. It's probably not 3 inches under the water. As long as that thing's out of the water, they're gonna come up here. The bank really doesn't start dropping off till we get here. So somewhere as that beaver swims up here, somewhere about right in here, he's gonna put his foot down and he's gonna start walking, taking steps, and that's when he's gonna hit our trap and go down. So there's that set remade. And this is a good example too. I was talking about when I come in here, don't disturb it and just use their crossovers that they're naturally using anyway, they've been using. You would think an animal coming down this ditch would swim down here, this water flowing over the dam here, he'd just go right over the top of where that water's flowing. But But when I first come out here 4 days ago and set this up, this wasn't flowing like this. There was actually a dam across here. And then we got a big heavy rain that first night, and that big heavy rain washed that part of the dam out. And with me catching them in here at the same time, they haven't come back to repair this spot. But the whole time they've lived here, they've used this trail to cross this dam. So that's what they continue to do. They continue to come right here to this one spot and cross, and I'll continue to pick them up as they do. I've got 2 more conibears sit down here below this next dam. We haven't made any catches on them. We're picking all the beaver up on this top end before they get down there. But I'll walk down there, and if we've got any catches in those, I'll show you those also. All right, guys, we're down here at these 2 conibears now. Now, I think I showed these on video when I first got them set. But we've got number 4 this morning here. Another good catch right behind the neck. Exactly what we want. You can tell our two sticks that we had it anchored with was right here. Basically what we did when we set this up, we can tell that their crossing's coming right. You can tell where that water's flowing, right at the edge of that bank underneath that tree root. They're coming right across the top there, coming down into this channel. What we did, we just blocked this off best we could and had our trap sitting right there, and it provided for us this morning. We'll get him out of here. Basically all I'm doing, you can set these dudes by hand, but they aren't any fun. So I use these setters, just makes life easier. This right here is what's called a safety. These traps are really dangerous. If you're not familiar with them, you want to always be mindful of those safeties, make sure they're on. If you accidentally set that thing off and get your arm caught in it, could be a dangerous situation because you're going to have help to get that trap back off your arm. So, all right, here's number 4. Again, this trap I've just got anchored here. You can see my piece of rebar stake there. Just got it anchored to the bank. We're going to get this reset, put it right back in there exactly where we had it. Block off that little channel just a little bit. Now, always be mindful of those safeties, but before you leave the set, make sure you got those safeties off, because it will cause you to miss a beaver. They'll swim right through it if those safeties aren't off, and then once they do swim through it, it slaps them in the tail or slaps them in the body. Now, them beaver, they don't know what a trap is. They don't know that that's what almost got them, but they think it was another animal snapped at them, or another. I believe they actually think it's another beaver that got them, and so they might come right back, kind of investigate for a little bit why they couldn't find that beaver that snapped at them. But they're liable, especially now that we're down here to these young ones. They're liable to be wary of this area and not come back through because they don't know something's after them. Mom and dad just disappeared, all brothers and sisters just disappeared, and they come through here and something snapped at them, so they're liable to go and hide for a little bit. But anyway, there's that remake. That's exactly how it was set whenever we caught that beaver. Again, he just come right down this. The water's running down through here, and we narrowed it down to where that one opening was all he could go through. And then our last trap's right over here. It's guarding the den hole that I found when I first got here. We haven't made any catches with it, but you can see it there in that opening of that den hole. All right, guys, stay tuned. All right, number 5 for the day, guys. We got another one here at this culvert. I don't remember have to go back and look at my notes, but I think this is either number 3 or number 4 at this location in this culvert. But since we're catching, we're going to go ahead and set this trap back and leave it here. It's not too far from my house, so it's not a big deal to get this culvert checked. Then we get back here in the back, we'll probably pull those traps out if we don't have any catches on that. Save us a little time just to have this one check every morning. I'm gonna get this reset. I'm not gonna show it on video. I've showed it 2 or 3 times in past videos. If you're interested in seeing this set, go back and watch some of those past videos.